These cows belong to the Carver Cattle Company here in southwest Colorado. They spend the summer months up in the high country, so we'll spend summers riding way up high, checking on cows and doctoring cows and rotating pastures, fixing fences and so on. Then in the fall we'll spend a few weeks riding big wide circles of country way up high, looking for cows and driving them at that point down into the lower pastures where we can get them all in one place so we can eventually drive them into a big set of corrals where they'll be sorted and the calves will be sold and shipped, and that's a big day, and we'll spend weeks getting ready for that day. On this outfit, we usually trailer out to the country where we'll be hunting for cows and gather them into a big holding pasture. We take a small group of students with us on these cow works like this, and it's part of the extended class I teach here in the U.S. And in these classes I cover all the aspects of the horse, but primarily we work on our riding skills. We do it in the round pen, we do it in the arena, in these controlled environments, and work on the maneuvers and getting control of the horse. But then, like everything else, you've got to get outside the classroom at some point and go out into the real world and do something with what you've learned.
Right there, that fence line right there is right here. This is all downhill. We're all going to go like this, downhill. And then right here in the flat is a big field with a cabin right here. So that's where we're going to hold those cows. Once we get out to that big field and you see that cabin, stop pushing.
There's a lot of horses, I think, these days that get taught all kinds of maneuvers and all kinds of disciplines, and it's a little bit like getting all dressed up for the ball and then never going to the ball. And this out here I consider like going to the ball, going to the dance. You're out here in where it all started to me. You're working these cows, and at any given point during any day you'll be doing things that in the specialized world of horse shows have turned into events like team sorting and team petting and cutting and reining and roping, and those are things that people will train horses to be specialists in. But out here a horse has to do all of those things, maybe all within an hour, and be fairly good at it or you'll lose control of 800 cows. Erica's riding her 3-year-old horse today that she raised, and she's making the kind of horse out of him that she wants to ride. And we like to get these young horses out here like this and show them the world, and nothing beats getting out here and doing something with a horse. It's important that we spread out and that everyone knows which piece of country they need to gather so that as they ride through they can pick up whatever cows they find and drive them into the holding pasture where we'll meet later in the day. Some people might get the idea that when I say pasture, I mean a nice groomed pasture you might see in a magazine. But these pastures are a few thousand acres of rough, brushy country where you have to go hunt for these cows to bring them in. You really need to be aware of what's going on around you. You have to look for tracks, and you have to get an idea of where the cows might be, and or you'll miss cows and have to do it again. We'll come up short. Now our job is really, really important. And if you see a cow even thinking of going to the willows, dive in there. Don't stand there and watch her go, okay? Come on, Emma. Let's go. We can't let anything get in the willows.
You know, when you ride with a purpose and you have a job that you need to do, then your riding sort of changes. And if the horse doesn't respond straight away, I always think that I did something wrong instead of, you know, asking it again and making it happen. But now, since I got back from this trip, I find myself being more sure that I'm asking it right and demanding more from my horse. And it's working quite well.
When I got home from Colorado and got to ride my own horse, I really felt that I had changed as a rider. I felt more confident and more assertive, and my body language in the saddle was both much clearer and more assertive than before. And riding my own horse, not only did I feel more confident and assertive, but also I felt that I was able to correct myself in my riding. Apparently, all that riding and moving cows made me a little bit more body aware, I think, and I hope a bit closer to being somewhat coordinated as a rider.
I've had some people help, and you guys picked it up really quite well. I was proud of how you spread out all day. Nobody got caught up with each other. Everybody kind of moved forward. Everyone was watching. Anytime the cows would start to move out, you guys were going out, doing your job. And it's just like I said this morning when I said, you guys aren't guests today, you're cowboys. And you really were cowboys today. I was proud of every one of you. I'm serious too. And when you have $1.5 million worth of beef moving, it's stressful for the guy, you know, that has to watch it all. But you guys today really made it a lot better for me. So I'm serious. I'm not just being nice. So thank you, really. These cows are looking for their babies, and the babies are looking for their mamas, so they're all coming here going, we're going to figure out who's who. So.
And when they find each other, will they go down?
Yeah.
The valley?
Yeah, once they suck, they'll kind of go, okay, we're all right, let's go get something to drink.
This is the big day. There's about 800 cows and calves that have to be sorted into groups of the ones that'll be sold and shipped, and the ones that we'll keep, and the ones that belong to the neighbors that got scooped up into the gather, and there's the ones that'll replace the old cows that are going to get shipped, and so on. So it's a pretty intense day, and we have a lot to do and only a day to get it done. And each person has a job in the corrals, and it's vital to everything running smoothly that everybody kind of know what they're doing and work together. And we've had a great time with students on these days. They got a job to do, but they also have someone there helping to figure it out. And by the end of the day, you know you've done something, and everybody's got the hang of it, and they've been good hands. Hey. There we go. Okay, do it. Eric, do it. Send me some. It's going really fast with, 800 or 900. And we have to do this twice today. Separate the calves from the mamas and the shipping calves from the
Should we not
keepers,
do we wait until this is completely empty till we get new ones out?
Yeah, we'll have time.
Okay.
Good job, Eric. Okay, let him in.
No, I'm figuring out what to do.
Yeah, there's moments when a guy finds himself standing right in the way.
Right.
If you're sitting here and they're trying to get a calf through, you move out of the gate and let the calf through. That's the kind of stuff you're just watching all the time. Yeah. Yeah, you're doing fine.
I have a better idea now.
Yeah, you're doing good. You find out you really need your horse to turn around fast and listen to you and go and stop and all that stuff. Hey, hey, hey. Hup. Ha. Ha. Ha.
I'm really happy that I got used to cows during this trip. And it's because when I introduced my horse to cows for the first time last summer, it didn't go very well at all because she was afraid of them. She was really afraid of them. And I couldn't really tell her that they weren't dangerous because I wasn't really sure myself that they weren't. They looked pretty big to me. I haven't been around cows much before, and that whole thing didn't go very well. But now, obviously, I feel completely safe around cows. Now I know how they behave. I know much more about them,
9, 10,
and we worked with cows almost every day for 2 weeks.
Should be 10.
So next cow event I'll take my horse to, I think I'll be able to calm her down. And I think it will go a lot better than last time.
Is that 10? Okay. And when it's time to move and get really aggressive about moving these cows, getting behind them and kind of begging them to go, they usually won't. It's important when you're riding these young horses in these gathers and in these corrals like this that you don't forget that they are young and they don't know a lot. They may have a good stop on them and they may be able to turn around and go after a cow and turn a cow, but at the same time this is new to them and it's real easy for them to get excited, to get scared and get in over their heads. And so it's good to take a little breather every now and then and just kind of go over the basics with them again. Check your stop, check your turns, make sure they're listening to you and connected to you. I need to ride her a little bit. She's excited, and it's kind of unfair of me to make her do all this stuff perfectly. But the more I ride her here, the better she's getting.
enjoy riding a horse like this. I like to help him learn to relax and focus on the job he needs to do. I'm riding this horse for someone else, and he's been ridden by a lot of different riders, and he's gotten pretty stiff in places. But he's really a soft-minded horse, and it's really rewarding to feel him start to come around as the day goes on and learn to start to relax and maybe collect himself a little. I guess it's sort of on-the-job training.
We don't want to ever put someone in a situation where they're in over their head, where the job's too far out of their comfort zone. We want people and horses to succeed, so it's important that when we have you turn a cow or gather a pasture, you aren't ever in a situation where you're asked to do something you can't do. At first you might think you can't, just like a young colt who's trying something for the first time. You might find that trying it is putting you into new territory outside what you're used to, but with every little success your confidence builds, just like your horse's confidence. And after a while you're doing things you never thought you could do, and then it becomes ordinary after you do it for a few days. Then you can move on to the next higher level. Then you're becoming a good hand. Everybody knows the job now.
Oh yeah.
It's going really smooth, yeah. Don't quit. Good job, good job. Okay, good. Let's go get them some more. That's probably good for now. That's probably far enough, Emma. Us, our crew, this afternoon compared to this morning, everybody now knows, nobody knew what to do this morning. Everybody's kind of got the program and it's going really smooth. And it's, yeah, like you said, it's neat when the horses have a job to do. They don't spend a lot of time acting stupid. In and out of the trailer, out on the hills, in here. Nothing beats a job. Woo! After the calves have been weaned and shipped, these cows are pretty anxious to get out of those corrals and get back to some good feed and some freedom. So they're usually pretty hot and ready to run, so they'll usually take off as soon as you open the gate. It's pretty important not to let them get ahead of you. It's important to not let them get spread out where they can get away into the timber, so you gotta sometimes hook up and ride pretty hard and keep them lined out and moving straight. And you know, there's another thing that comes out of these classes that right at first I think is not apparent, and a lot of times it's not apparent to people until a few weeks after the class when they get back home. And that is, these horses teach you something that you don't even know you're being taught. They teach you to have confidence. They teach you to try things that you would never try at home. You would never have the opportunity to try it at home. Normally, if you didn't have a bunch of cows back home, you wouldn't be bailing off a mountainside. You wouldn't be chasing a cow through brush at a full gallop on a horse. And the confidence that people get when they leave here, when I see them again in their country, they're a little different person. They have a little swagger to their walk, and they're a little bolder, and their horses respond to that confidence that they get here and that leadership that they acquire. After we've gone several miles, we'll get these cows up to this point and get them bunched up and let them settle a little bit after they've been traveling fast and been kind of wound up. And we'll bring them through the gate here at this point, and Ricky will get a count on these cows and kind of get an idea of whether you've lost any along the way. So you kind of ride your horse forward and kind of narrow the opening and count them as they come through the gate, 1 or 2 or 3 at a time. And after that, when they're all through the gate, it's just a straight shot back to the big pasture and the end of a long day. It's always a great feeling when that last cow goes over the hill back to the pastures where they'll graze until it's time to gather them up again and go into the next phase, which is bringing them down about 30 miles through the country. And we pass through a couple of towns along the way down Main Street and bring them back to where they'll spend the winter in a little bit lower country.